What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another brand new video. Today we're going to be talking about the weekly analysis. Now normally this would be a YouTube live stream, but the live streams are way too long. It's more than an hour sometimes, or minimum 1 hour. So it seems like not many people are watching the analysis, and I want more people to watch these because this is where we sit down in real time and look at the charts and look at what's happening in the present. And based off these analysis or this analysis, we make future predictions, right? And we look for setups in the future. So this I just want to see how this one does. Maybe it will do better than the live streams. I will still be holding or conducting live streams, but on Twitch, once I move to Twitch for the gaming live streaming thing. But until then, we're gonna do these weekly analysis videos, and we're gonna keep them much shorter. So so more people can take advantage of this, and maybe they can start analyzing this on their own one day, you know. So we're going to start by looking at the US dollar currency index. Now, US dollar index it's not against any currency, and it is the US dollar alone. So this chart in front of me is telling me how the US dollar is performing, right? And this is like a cheat sheet. So if the US dollar index is falling, for example, any pair that is crossed with the US dollar is going to be rising. So as you can see, the US dollar is falling, right? It's falling, it's falling, it's falling. So Euro USD should be rising. There you go. GBP USD should be rising as well. AUD USD should be rising. NZD USD should be rising. USD CAD, however, USD is falling, remember, and CAD should be going higher, right? So the stronger pair is going to drive the weaker pair lower, right? So this is how you can use the dollar index as a cheat sheet, and it will help you a lot, especially if you're trading the US dollar crossed pairs. So we're going to start off by looking at the DXY, the US dollar index, and what it is doing at the moment and what we can hope for or see in the future. So right now, US dollar is just falling, right? But when the US dollar came to this area back in the start of June last month, we saw that the last down candle before this huge bearish move, US dollar came here, almost came to the 50% of the last bearish candle, and started reversing. It did go up for a little bit, right? By how many points? About 200, right? So it did go up for a little bit, and then it just fell, right? But it did find support in this area. Now, what can we expect in the future, and where is the US dollar headed to? Let's go to the monthly chart. So right away, you can see that on the monthly chart, we have this area right here, which can be labeled as the money box or the order block, if you want to call it that. So we can label this area as an area of focus, because I'm expecting US dollar to fall all the way to this area right here before it can start reversing. Now this can take a lot of time. This is on the monthly time frame, and this could also take just a couple of days, you know. But in the long run, this is the area where I'm expecting the US dollar to come down to, especially after creating all these relatively equal highs. So there's going to be a lot of liquidity sitting above these highs, because once this market comes back here, people are going to start selling again, right? So I would not be surprised if the market either comes to this area, right, to grab these equal highs. Now this is on the monthly. Remember, this can take a lot of time. Or we have an imbalance right here. So the price might come up, grab all these equal highs, and then continue falling, if it is going to continue falling. So, but this is in the long run, right? Let's look at the lower time frame, which is the weekly. Now on the weekly, once again, this area stands out to me when compared to other areas on the price on the charts, right? But this again is in the long run, and this could take some time, this could take a while, or it could just happen in a couple of, but this is where I'm anticipating for the US dollar to come down to. So I'm expecting these coming days to decide the fate of the dollar, because in this week, even in this week, if the US dollar does not gain strength, then there's a possibility that this week is going to be another bearish week for the US dollar, right? So on the daily time frame, this area to me stands out more than any other area. Why? I'll tell you guys. So this is on the daily time frame, right? This is the closest thing we are close to, or we can be looking. This is the closest thing we can be looking at right now, because the price is approaching this area. So why is this area of significance to me? Well, because first of all, we had a support in this area right here. So if you cannot tell if there was a support, you can click on the line chart and you can see. So we had a support zone over here. You can see there was a support here. This area was also a resistance in the past. We had a support here and we had support here. Multiple times the price rejected from this area. Now, if you guys watch my videos, I like to combine the market structure, which is support and resistance, with the genius money concept or the smart money concept. So if the price was to break the support and continue lower, it should have just done that, but the price came back in and continued higher. So this area, let me just delete these zones, the support zone. So this area is where the market faked out a sell, where you can see this huge bearish candle before the up move, right, which denied breaking and continuing the continuation of the movement of the market. It denied this last sell, was basically the ex-girlfriend, right? Now whenever there's an ex-girlfriend and there is a break and retest of the structure, that area is going to be an area of focus for me. So I am looking at this area for the US dollar to fall down to. And it looks like we're approaching this area at the moment. So I would like to see some rejections in this area that would indicate that the US dollar in fact is about to reverse for a little bit. And when it does come back up, now this is on the daily time frame. If it does come back up, it will most definitely come back and retest this money box or the order block, and it might continue lower again. So this is what I'm looking at the DXY, right? Now naturally, if the US dollar is continuing lower for a little bit, all the other pairs are going to be continuing higher for a little bit, right? So let's look at the monthly time frame. On Euro USD, first thing that I can notice is that on the monthly time frame, remember, we have an imbalance over here, and this is the swing high before this downward move came, right? And this is the swing low because the market is reversing from here. So we still created a higher high, and not only that, we broke all these previous highs, right? So we broke structure. Not only that, we created a higher low, and now we're continuing higher. And you can see the market came down to this money box. Market came down to this money box before it reversed. So this indicates to me that Euro USD is going to be bullish. Now if it's bullish, let's drop down to the daily. We're only going to be looking for buying setups, right? Or if you are a reversal trader like me, okay, and right now you can see the market is creating higher highs in this area, right? It's creating higher highs. Equal highs, right? So the market would come up to this monthly imbalance, which is a money box or the order block on the daily time frame, and grab all these equal highs, all this liquidity, and then reverse for a little bit, right? So I'm gonna be looking at this area. Until then, I'm not gonna chase this crazy movement, because this is too bullish for me right now. And whenever the movement is monodirectional or moves in one direction like this, it's very good for you to stay away from the market. But on the lower time frames, when you see movements like these, where the market grabs equal lows, does the X girlfriend move, and comes back to that area, you can take advantage of this right here. So you can see the price took out all these equal lows on the 15-minute time frame. It came down to the last push to the downside. Now, why did I go to the 15-minute time frame? Because on the 1-hour time frame, it's a huge candle. It's a huge candle. This one, I would never be able to find a good setup where it's a lower risk to reward ratio, right? So that's why I dropped down to the 15-minute time frame, and that's where I marked the last push down. The market came over here, and then so you can still do this on the 15-minute time frame. You can still look for buys. So there was liquidity here, market came down to the imbalance on this candle and then reverse. So you can still drop down to the 15-minute or the lower time frames, and you can still look for setups, right? But I'm not gonna do that. I mean, I like to stay away from the smaller time frames. I only look at the smaller time frames for entries and exits, or specifically for entries. Guys, 1 second, I'll be back, please. Okay, so I'm back. Sorry about that. The call for the prayer was going on in the background, so I'm not supposed to talk over that. So anyways, so as I was saying, I like to look at the smaller time frames for entries, but you can still take advantage of moves like these, right? And since it was Monday today, I don't trade on Mondays or on Fridays, so I couldn't take advantage of this move. But it was a very good setup. And let's move on to the next pair. So your USD is still bullish, and if there's moves like these, you can still take advantage of them. Same thing for the GBP USD. Basically, every pair against the US dollar is going to be bullish at the moment. And I see the US GBP USD coming back to this area. So once again, this is because look, on the daily time frame, we broke structure. We broke the previous highest high. Not only that, we are creating higher lows. So this is very bullish, guys. And you guys need to understand that where should the market reverse from if it does continue higher. So there is no doubt that market is going to come back to this area, because over here the market, the retail traders are waiting for the market to come up here and start selling, right? Or start reversing from here. It might reverse from here, but it might continue a little bit higher, grab these equal lows, highs as well, and then reverse. But nonetheless, GBP USD is coming back to this area, the last bullish candle before this crazy movement, right? Or this crazy selling pressure. So GBP USD is also going to be heading higher, so you can go down to the lower time frames, and still you can let me see if I can see a setup on the 15-minute time frame here, because the market is going to continue grabbing the lows first and continuing higher. So for example, over here the market grabbed lows and continued higher, and over here it didn't really do that. No liquidity grab, it just continued higher, and over here as well. But the market did come down to this money box or the order block before continuing higher. So the reason why there are not many setups is because the buying pressure is just too much. The bullish momentum is too strong. So you might not even get a liquidity grab, at the bottom, and it might just continue higher. So that is the reason why you should be looking at all the pairs, right? Because the chances are you're not gonna get a setup on every single cross pair. So you might just look at all of them. Over here as well, very bullish AUD USD. The market broke the previous highs that came before the pandemic even started. And you can see, just like in the past, the market had come to this area before the last bullish candle before the bearish momentum. The market came into this area and reversed. Now, where could we potentially be looking at for the market to reverse? Now, as you can see, so much money is sitting above these highs, right? So much, because everybody's selling in this area. So I'm not going to be surprised if AUD USD comes up to this area right here. And this is on the daily time frame. I have no doubt that AUD USD is going to come up here and then reverse. If not this area, then most definitely this is where the price will come back to. So AUD USD is still pretty bullish, very strong. And one of the main reasons is because the US dollar is weak against it. So again, that is the area. It's going to continue higher too. Also NZD USD, definitely coming up to this area. And then once it has created equal highs over here, it will come up to this area, NZD USD. It will come up to this area to grab these equal highs and then reverse for a little bit. Now, all these setups are based on the fact that the US dollar is going to fall for a little bit and then gain strength. Remember, but if the US dollar keeps falling, these setups are going to continue rising. So unless or until the US dollar reverses, these are the potential areas we're going to be. So for example, the US dollar does not gain strength in this area, right? The US dollar does not gain strength in this area. So what we will be looking forward to will be this next area, because we have higher equal highs sitting above here, and we have our order block or the money box where the market could reverse from, grabbing all these equal highs. So remember, the US dollar index is what is indicating these areas. Now USD CAD, right away the area that stands out to me is this area right here, because on the weekly time frame we grabbed all these equal lows, and if we were supposed to break structure, we should have just continued lower. We didn't. We came back into this area, treated as a support again, and then continued higher. So USD CAD in the long run is coming down to this area, but what it could be doing in the meantime, let me just show you guys. Okay, so what it could be doing in the meantime, it's creating equal lows at the moment, and this area is where it could potentially come down to before reversing. Now this is again when the US dollar gains strength, but it's not doing that at the moment, so it might continue falling before continuing higher for a little bit, right? Because even our dollar index analysis is that the US dollar, if it gains strength in this area, will continue up to here and then reverse again. So we are buying to sell, right? And selling to buy. That's how the genius money or smart money works. And why I combined the market structure is what I want to show you guys. It's just, now we're done with the analysis, right? I just want to show you guys this example. This was a beautiful example, and I called this trade out way back when we took this trade, right? So the market broke below and then came back in. So if it's supposed to continue lower, it should have shown us some retest over here as a resistance and continue lower, but that didn't happen. So I called this trade out way back, and this is a perfect example as to why I like to compare or combine the market structure and the genius money concept. So that was a small example. Let's look at the Nasdaq. Now the Nasdaq created this high right here, this swing high, and then it fell down, created lower high, lower low, because we broke this structure right here. And why do I know that? Because if you drop down to the 1 hour time frame, you can see that all of this structure was broken. Now it broke the structure. This indicates to me, now this is on the 1 hour time frame. On the daily, we could still be bullish. yeah, on the daily we are still pretty bullish, but like I said, we still broke structure and we created a lower high. So the market might continue higher, come to this area of imbalance, which is also a support, retail support, now acting as a resistance, and might continue lower from there. But right now, looking at the Nasdaq, it's bearish to me because it has created lower highs and lower lows. And let's look at the US 500 now. The US 500, let's look at the daily one time. Okay, on daily we are very bullish because we broke structure, we created higher highs, and now on the 1 hour time frame, let's look at the chart. Okay, so looks like we are creating a lot of liquidity over here in this area where there was a recently created gap. Not only that, we have this order block or money box in this area. So let's look at the line chart. Yeah, if it does come back, I'll be looking at this area, how it reacts to this area, because not only was it a support, it was a resistance in the past and in the most nearest present. So we also have a money box in this area, and even if it does start to create equal highs in this area, we have some imbalance. So this is where I'd be looking for the US 500, sorry, to reverse from in these potential areas. Other than that, it looks pretty bullish to me because not only did it create a higher high, it's also creating all these wicks at the bottom. So price action is telling me that it is supposed to continue higher. And ever since the market opened up on the Monday, it fell down, but it came back up into this area where it was a strong resistance, right? Now, if you look at the line chart, we broke these higher highs and now it's creating higher highs. We broke all these equal highs, I mean. So this indicates to me, and we didn't see, if this was a liquidity grab, we didn't see that bearish reaction, that huge bearish reaction that should have come out after this liquidity grab. So this indicates to me that the market is heading higher at the moment. US 500 is very bullish. US 30, I can see that it is still within this area, and it's bearish. Even though US 500 is bullish, US 30 is bearish. Why? Because not only is it creating lower highs, lower lows, lower highs, lower lows, it is also breaking the previous structure. So it broke those, and it's still failing to create higher highs. So even if it does come up higher, I'm going to be looking at this money box, and it might come up, grab all these equal highs, and then drop down if it is going to continue lower, which I think it might be, because I see this pattern. I see this pattern that the retail loves so much, the double top. So US 30, I'm bearish on US 30, even though I'm bullish on US 500, but this could change. Remember, this is only an analysis, right? But this area will be of significance to me. If not this, then we have imbalance over here, which lines up with the retail support, now acting as a resistance. And this area, you can change it to a line chart and you can label it perfectly. Yeah. So this area was also a resistance and a support in the past. So look out for US 30 because it's just moving within a range. And it did grab equal lows and continued higher within the support again. So this could also continue higher. But I'm going to be waiting for a more clear price action to actually make choose a bias or make an analysis on US 30. But for now, I can tell that it failed to break below this low, which was also a retail support. So it did come lower, grab these lows, and not only that, it did come into this money box over here and an order block, if you want to call it. So it might continue higher, maintaining the correlation between US 30 and US 500. So we'll have to see about the US 30, but US 500 I'm pretty bullish. I know it's going to continue higher, at least to these areas. So yeah, last thing I want to talk about is GBP odd. I wanted to show you guys this is because I couldn't show you guys this one in the last video because the video was longer. But on GBP odd, we have a Telegram public group where everybody shares their analysis, and everybody was selling. This is last week, by the way. Everybody was selling GBP odd, and what I noticed on the GBP odd was that we had equal lows and also a retail support in this area. And so the market went down. Oh, this is on the daily time frame, so this is no joke. Came down and closed as this pin bar, if you want to call it, and then continued higher into the support. Now this is a very strong bullish candle. So I told everybody that, looking at the 4-hour time frame, I told everybody that the market is coming back to this area, and then in the long run it's coming back to this area as well. And people were saying no, GBP is going to continue lower. GBP Australian dollar is too strong against the US dollar, and GBP is weak against the Australian dollar. But that's not the case. If for all we know, the market could be creating a head and shoulders, inverse head and shoulders, and continue higher. So looking at the price action now, I was looking at the price action and market structure. Simple as that. This was a support. Market structure got broken, came back in. So this is genius money. They grabbed the equal lows and they came back into this area. And now this was not a small move. This was about 200 pips. And if you don't believe me, call this out. I'm going to show you guys the exact picture that I sent this was on the 4-hour time frame, right? Okay, so looking at the 4-hour time frame, the market was in this area, right? The market had closed over here, and I told people that the market might reverse and come back into this order block or the money box before continuing higher. And that's exactly what happened. The market continued higher, dropped down into that money box, and continued higher to this area, which I have marked out over here. So please, guys, I understand that you have multiple ways of trading or looking at the market, but if you combine market structure with genius money concept, it's going to help you guys a lot. And by a lot, I mean a lot, because it's going to help you guys look at the bigger picture in a more clear way. So I understand that you guys might have your own methods and all this stuff, but I mean, I was looking at this and I could tell this was as clear as daylight or water to me that the market was coming back to this area, because it had just grabbed these equal lows and continued back into this area. So that's all, guys. I hope you guys look at the markets in the same way as I am, because I just like to cross-refer the US dollar and trade the majors, because we have a cheat sheet for the US dollar, so why not take advantage of that? And all you have to do is find one good setup. Until then, be patient, keep looking at the markets, let the markets do their thing. Guys, I forgot that I didn't even analyze gold in the video, so I'm recording this after I have done recording the weekly analysis. Oh my god, I'm so stupid sometimes. So gold is trading against the US dollar, right? You can see over here gold spot versus US dollar. So if we are looking at gold, let me look at the monthly. Yeah, so we had very clear area of liquidity because the retail is going to be selling like crazy over here, right? And these highs were created in 2011. So that's almost 10 years, guys. 9 years, but the market is going to come back to that area after so long. So everybody's going to be selling here, of course, right? And the US dollar just keeps falling because there's many reasons behind that. I don't want to get into politics, but US dollar needs to gain some strength in order for gold to fall. And right now, everybody's just buying gold, which is the smart thing to do, because when the currencies are in a turmoil, people like to invest in the metals, right? Because the metals are the safe haven. So I have no doubt the the gold is going to continue higher, even higher than this, because the US dollar, like I said, the US dollar is still falling. If the US dollar keeps falling, all the cross paired metals currencies are going to keep rising. So, yeah, I mean, gold is going to continue higher. God knows till when, because on the monthly, the weekly, yes, we are seeing some rejections, but I mean, on the weekly, we're pretty strong. On the daily, we are pretty strong. On the 4 hour time frame, we are showing some signs of weakness, but we have seen these signs before as well, right? So don't get fooled. This might not be a good time to sell. You know, you might want to keep continuing buying gold at the moment, but if you are looking for a sell, which I'm looking for the reversal. I'm gonna wait for the market to form some sort of lower highs and lower lows and break the previous structure and trade lower than that, and then, or the market create higher highs in this area, equal highs, do a liquidity grab and then reverse, and then come back into that area to mitigate out of that position, and then we can be looking for sells. So unless that happens, I'm still pretty bullish on gold. There's no doubt gold is going to continue higher. So yeah, that's it. I hope you guys learned something from this video, and yeah, I'll see you guys in the next video. Peace.